Well, this is the next day. I'm not sure where the sunshine is that they were forecasting, but it's not raining, and it's actually a nice day, about 40 degrees. So I don't know if I explained it well in the last video. You guys saw me moving this little shelter thing here in the beginning of the video, but that little shelter is where I built my cow, and it was built temporary because I kind of got a cow spur of the moment, and now it's almost been 4 years ago, and it's pretty miserable in the wintertime, wind blowing through it and all that stuff. So first thing I'm going to do after I build this lean-to is kind of have a place that I can enclose to milk in the winter, because the cow is dry right now, but she's fixing to freshen hopefully in several weeks, so I want to get this done before she freshens. We got a tape measure stretched from that hanger to this hanger. Now I just got to go along and mark every 3 feet. I've carried pressure treated 6x6. It's lighter than this oak 4x4. This tar pretty much is dry. It's a little, you can still rub some off, get a little brown on your finger, but dried pretty good overnight. So I got this tape stretched in front of the house, so I'm using it for my side to side and my back and forth. If that makes any sense. Too far one way, too far the other way. Close enough to perfect for me. Well, one down, 4 more to go. So now I'll do the one at the other end, then I stretch a string, make my marks on the string, and then do all the middle ones. Well, the forecasted sunshine is finally out, and it's nice enough that James wanted to come outside. Isn't it, Jamesy? Got a snotty nose. So in case you didn't see yesterday's video, I'm digging these holes about 30 inches deep. I'll use a tamper, loosen up the dirt. Use it. What? Yeah, I'm digging a hole. Here. That's a digging iron. Just back and forth. Uh-huh.
What are you doing?
I'm stretching a string here.
Why?
So I know where to put the other posts. That's why. Now I need a screw. Now we mark off the posts.
Okay.
And then we dig the holes.
Okay. So we're going. We're putting a line right here, so we can put the other post.
That's
down.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
That way they're in a nice straight line.
That's because we're men. Men build stuff.
Can you hold this tape measure on that?
We build stuff.
Can you see that little mark right there? Can
Yeah.
you see it?
Yeah.
Can you hold the tape measure right on that mark?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it out, and then when I'm ready, then you hold it on the mark. Here. You hold it there. Right there?
Yeah. Now we need to do something else.
Now we paint.
Yeah, now we paint.
We made X's, big X's
Yeah.
on the ground.
To to paint.
Okay, watch your boots.
Anyway. There.
Okay, now we dig holes.
Yeah, now we dig holes. We done all the edges. Now we dig holes. We'll put the post under the holes. There. So now we need to do that. That's so now we need to do it because that's a.
Well, that called for a tea break. Took almost an hour to dig these 3 holes, so I guess about 20 minutes apiece. Doesn't sound too bad, but my body ain't used to it. Don't even know if you can see those. But at least it's easy digging here. Supposedly it's only 48 degrees right now. It feels like it's in the 60s. That's just my weather app telling me though. It is comfy out here. Unless I'm just part Eskimo or something. I think the sunshine helps a whole lot. Well, I'm gonna put you on time lapse again. Get all these posts plopped in there so I can start putting on headers. Well, I finally went and got some batteries for the Transit. Well, I got it last night when I got those other. Oops. When I went to town, I went and got a battery. Well, I got it fairly close. I shot grade. On this end, it slopes about 2 inches until it gets to the middle, and then it goes level. So that needs to get cleaned out a little bit. But I'm gonna try to borrow a little tractor with a grader blade on it from somebody else to do it once it's completely dry. And the other end, it slopes about 4 or 5 inches, which is what I wanted. I wanted any water that comes off to run out and down. And I dug the little ditch over there. I'm not sure if I left that in the last video or not, but I dug a little ditch over there, and it looked to me like it went uphill, but the Transit shows it goes down. So I thought I had 8 feet of headroom here, but it's only 7.5 feet. So I want this to be 6.5 feet underneath the header. So it's gonna be a 6-inch header, and so and I'm running it off of this 2-foot overhang. So I'm actually going 10 feet. So 1/12 pitch would be 10 inches, and that'll get it down to about 6.5 feet. I know that's very flat, but it's fine. I hope it won't leak on me, but I don't think it will. So all this lumber here, including the 4x4s that I used on the truck, I got from a local sawmill. Now I went and priced it at Lowe's just to see how much it would cost. And this is yellow pine, the same stuff you'd get at Lowe's, but the stuff at Lowe's would be planed, which means it'd be nice and smooth. And it would have cost over $700 for what I've got here. And this cost $325. But then you get your ends, they're not straight. It's all rough, it wasn't planed down. But then these 2x6s are full 2 inches by 6 inches. So you get more lumber for your money. But for $325 versus over $700, like there's no question I'm going with this stuff. Buying lumber straight from the sawmill is called rough sawn. And the other thing that can happen is your boards can vary some because they're not put through a planer. So this board might go up to 6 1/4, and it's 2 inches wide, maybe go 2 1/4 some places. It usually doesn't vary much, but that's what the planing process does. Smooths it and brings it down to an exact size. Well, I got the headers all laid out, and Usually, I've always had to do this from a ladder. But since this one is so short, I get to do it from the ground, so it'll be pretty easy. And if you're doing it by yourself, these screws here are your helpers. You want to sight them if they have a crown, which means if they have a bow, you want to make sure your bow is up. That way, if it settles straight instead of starting off with a sag and sagging even worse. But this one's nice and straight. And then I don't level to get them straight. You want to get your measurement up top, the same as you had it on the bottom. And the only two that I level then are the two end ones. I start off level, then when I get done, I level that one. Because your post can have a little bit of a bow, and if you just do that, then each rafter that's on a post will be off. Or possibly. Now just move this screw straight over. Careful letting go like that, because me and my brother were doing this once and it was a big 20-foot 2x12. Flipped off, landed on the back of my head. Very crooked. To go. Well, all right, there's one side on, and now it's just rinse and repeat. And I'll do the other side. So now I'm going to show you my redneck way of figuring out how to cut my rafters. I'm using this speed square, and down here in the common is how you figure out. I'm sure there's a bunch of videos on it. So I'm going to go about 1 1/4 12. Now I'm putting it in those joist hangers, which are made for an 1.5 inch wide board. These are 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of narrow this end down a bit. Actually, remember that board falling on my head? That's why I can't figure this stuff out. It messed my brains up. I'm gonna drop this down about 1.5 inches. I'm gonna cut a notch out of it so that it can sit over these headers, and it's called a bird's mouth. So here you can see my 2 marks. Hey, babe. Fits like a glove. I got a bunch, 13, I believe I got 13 more to do. And I'm not going to fasten this one yet. I take this one down and use it as a pattern to mark out all my rests to make sure they're all the same. So this is how I do it. The one that I've cut first, I make sure to mark it so I don't get it mixed up. Then I lay out several and just line up the top, because these vary in width a little bit. So you just make sure your tops are lined up. Go along, mark them all out, cut them all up with a skill saw. I just called in and ordered the metal, and it won't be ready till Friday. So that'll work out good.